Jocko Willink spent 20 years as a Navy SEAL and led the most decorated Special Operations Unit of the Iraq War. The training system that kept his operators functional, not just strong, but durable enough to perform under load for decades without their bodies breaking down, was built around 5 positions that most people never hold for more than a second. The 5 holds I'm about to show you come straight from that system. They take 15 minutes, they require no equipment, and they will fix more of your back pain, your hip tightness, and your postural breakdown than any foam roller or any stretching routine ever will. So let's get into them. The first hold is one every SEAL learns in the earliest stages of training and almost nobody in civilian fitness takes seriously. The tactical rest squat. In the field, operators spend hours in this position, waiting, observing, resting without sitting down, staying ready to move at any second. What that kind of sustained exposure does to the hips, the ankles, and the lower back is the opposite of what sitting in a chair does. Instead of compressing the spine and switching off the glutes, it decompresses the lower back, opens the hips through their full range, and builds the deep hip stability that protects the knee and the lumbar spine simultaneously. Most people's lower back pain and hip pain trace back to a single root cause: joints that have never been loaded through their full range of motion. The tactical rest squat fixes that directly. Here's how you do it. Stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, toes turned out 15 to 20 degrees. Lower yourself all the way down into the deepest squat your body will allow. Hips below knees, heels flat on the floor. Bring your elbows to the inside of your knees and press them outward gently. Keep your chest up, keep your spine as long as you can. Now just hold it, don't bounce, don't shift. Breathe steadily and let gravity do the work of pulling you deeper over time. Start with 60 seconds and work toward 2 to 3 minutes over the coming weeks. What you'll feel in the first 30 seconds is tension in the hips, the groin, and around the ankles that most people have never felt before. That's years of accumulated stiffness being loaded for the first time. It's not comfortable initially, but it is exactly the sensation you're looking for. The tissues being loaded here, the joint capsule, the tendons, the connective tissue around the hip and knee, get their nutrients from compression and decompression, not from the bloodstream the way muscles do. A joint that never goes to its end range slowly deteriorates. This position reverses that process. The mistakes are predictable. The first is letting the heels rise. The moment your heels come off the ground, the load shifts forward onto the knees and the lower back takes over, and you've lost the entire point. If your heels won't stay down, slide a thin book or a folded towel under them until your ankle mobility builds. The second mistake is caving the knees inward when fatigue sets in. Keep pressing them out with your elbows, and if they still collapse, come up slightly until you find a depth you can actually hold. Own that range completely before you chase more depth. More range with collapsed knees is worth nothing. The second hold is the one Jocko has talked about on his podcast more than almost any single training tool: the dead hang. SEALs use bars for everything, and the operators who stayed healthy for the longest time were the ones who spent time hanging rather than just pulling. Here's why. Every heavy thing you do compresses your spine. Loaded carries, rucking, lifting, even just standing under gravity all day. The dead hang is the only bodyweight tool that directly reverses that compression in real time. When you hang from a bar with your full body weight, every disc in your spine gets the pressure taken off it. The muscles running along your spine, which have been under constant load, finally release. The shoulders get pulled into a full overhead position that modern life almost never demands, which is exactly why so many people's shoulders start to deteriorate over time. The joint needs to visit that range regularly, or it forgets how. Here's how to do it. Find a pull-up bar, a door frame bar, or anything solid overhead. Grip it with both hands, palms facing away from you, slightly wider than shoulder width. Let your feet leave the floor and just hang. Don't pull up. Don't engage anything deliberately except for one cue. Draw your shoulder blades gently down and back away from your ears, as if you're tucking them into your back pockets. Not hard, just enough to activate the muscles around the shoulder joint so you're hanging from muscle rather than from ligament. Hold 30 to 60 seconds. Rest 60 seconds. 3 rounds. The mistake almost everyone makes is abandoning the position the moment the grip starts to burn. That burn is the adaptation you're after. Grip strength is one of the most consistent predictors of longevity and overall physical resilience in the research. It's a direct proxy for joint health and connective tissue integrity throughout the entire body. Stay in it. If you can't hang your full body weight yet, find a low bar or the top of a sturdy door frame, let your knees bend toward the floor, and take 30 to 40% of your weight through your feet. Adjust the load by how much you sink. Work toward full body weight over several weeks, then extend the hold time from 30 seconds towards 60 and eventually 90. The third hold is the one that separates operators who stay functional into their 40s and 50s from the ones who end up with chronic back problems that follow them out of service. The hollow body hold. Most people think core training means crunches or sit-ups, and that belief is exactly why most people's lower backs never stop hurting. Crunches flex the spine under load, which is the movement pattern that damages discs. The hollow body hold does the opposite. It teaches the entire anterior chain to brace the spine rigid without any spinal movement at all, which is exactly how the core is supposed to function during every physical demand of real life. Every time you pick something up, carry something heavy, or absorb an impact, your core's job is to prevent movement, not create it. This hold trains that function directly. Here's how you do it. Lie on your back on the floor. Press your lower back firmly into the ground, no gap between your spine and the floor. Tuck your chin slightly. Now raise both legs off the floor to about 45 degrees, and raise your shoulders and head just enough to clear the floor, arms reaching long past your hips. Hold that position. Everything stays still. Your lower back stays pressed into the floor the entire time. You should feel the deep abdominal muscles, not the surface ones, the deep ones below them, working to keep your spine flat and your legs up simultaneously. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds to start, working towards 60 seconds over the coming weeks. The biggest mistake is letting the lower back arch away from the floor as the legs drop lower. If your back peels off the floor, raise your legs higher until the lower back stays flat, or bend the knees slightly to reduce the lever arm. The position only works with the lower back in contact with the floor. The second mistake is holding the breath and tensing the jaw and neck instead of bracing the deep core. Breathe shallow but steady. The neck should be relaxed except for the chin tuck. Progress this by gradually lowering your legs toward the floor over weeks. As your core strength builds, the lower the legs, the longer the lever, the harder the brace has to work. When you can hold 60 seconds with legs at 20 degrees off the floor and your lower back completely flat, you have a level of core stability that makes back pain almost structurally impossible. Now, before I give you the last two holds, I want to say something. If you're dealing with the kind of pain and stiffness that's been limiting you for months or years, the back that tightens up on a long drive, the hips that ache when you climb stairs, the body that just doesn't respond the way it used to, you're not broken and you're not stuck. I built a 30-day program called Reboot Your Body for people in exactly that situation. It's a complete step-by-step system that rebuilds your movement and your joint health from the ground up, laid out as a daily plan so you don't have to figure out what to do next. We're talking about getting back to playing with your kids or grandkids without paying for it the next day, getting through a full day of work without your back tightening up by 2 in the afternoon, waking up in the morning and actually feeling like your body is on your side. The link is in the description below. Same methodology as everything in this video, built into a complete 30-day progression. All right, 2 more. The fourth hold is the one that fixes the single most overlooked root cause of lower back pain, hip dysfunction, and postural breakdown in people who spend any significant time sitting, the standing hip flexor wall press. SEALs spend a lot of time in vehicles, on aircraft, and in planning sessions, more sitting than most people realize. And the operators who developed chronic back problems were almost universally the ones with the tightest hip flexors. Here's what tight hip flexors actually do. They pull the front of the pelvis downward, which tips the tailbone back and forces the lumbar spine into a constant, exaggerated arch. That arch compresses the facet joints at the back of the vertebrae, chronically overloads the muscles running along the spine and creates the exact pattern of lower back pain that most people are told is just part of getting older. It isn't. It's a hip flexor problem, and this hold addresses it more directly than any passive stretch can. Here's how to do it. Get into a kneeling lunge near a wall. Push the top of your back foot up against the wall behind you, shin running vertical against the surface. Your front leg is in a standard lunge, foot flat on the floor, knee at 90 degrees. Now here is the essential cue, and without it, this hold does almost nothing. Squeeze the glute of the back leg as hard as you can and drive your hips forward. Keep your chest upright. Do not let your lower back arch. You should feel a deep, intense stretch running through the front of the back hip and thigh. That intensity is correct. Stay in it. 60 seconds, then switch sides. 1 round per side to start, building to 2 rounds over the coming weeks. The mistake that ruins this for most people is arching the lower back to fake the hip drive. When the back arches, the stretch disappears from the hip flexor entirely and loads up the lumbar spine where you don't want it. The fix is the glute squeeze, and it is not optional. A hard glute contraction automatically tucks the pelvis and physically prevents the lower back from compensating. You cannot arch your lower back while your glute is fully firing. If the full wall version is too aggressive at first, start with a standard kneeling lunge. Back foot flat on the floor, same glute squeeze and hip drive, and build into the wall version over a few weeks as the hip flexor releases and starts to cooperate. The 5th hold is the one that ties the entire system together and is the most direct fix for the shoulder dysfunction, upper back rounding, and neck pain that define the posture of almost every desk worker, driver, and screen user alive today. The active overhead lockout hold. In SEAL training, overhead carrying and pressing under load is a constant. Boats, logs, gear, teammates, the operators who kept their shoulders healthy for decades weren't the ones who avoided overhead work. They were the ones who spent time in the locked out overhead position with their stabilizers switched on, which built the rotator cuff and scapular control that keeps the shoulder joint centered under load. Most shoulder pain comes from one place. The shoulder joint migrating out of its socket slightly under load because the stabilizers aren't strong enough to hold it in. This hold builds exactly those stabilizers. Here's how to do it. Stand about 6 inches from a wall. Raise both arms overhead and press your palms flat against the wall, elbows straight but not hyperextended. Now set your position. Pull your ribs down, no arching in the lower back. Pull your shoulders away from your ears and back toward the wall. Push your palms into the wall as hard as you can without them moving. Think about driving your hands through the wall while simultaneously pulling your shoulder blades down your back. You should feel the entire rear shoulder and upper back engage immediately and intensely. Hold 30 to 45 seconds. Rest 60 seconds. 2 to 3 rounds. The first mistake is shrugging, letting the shoulders climb toward the ears during the press. That transfers everything to the neck and defeats the purpose entirely. Shoulders stay down the whole time, no exceptions. The second mistake is letting the lower back arch as the arms go overhead, which usually means thoracic mobility is limited and the lumbar spine is compensating. Pull the ribs down hard before you press, and keep them there throughout. Progress this by extending the hold time first from 30 seconds towards 60, and then by moving to a freestanding overhead hold with a light plate, which removes the wall's feedback and forces the stabilizers to work without any external reference point. When you can hold 60 seconds overhead with a light plate and your lower back completely flat, you have the shoulder stability that most people spend years in physical therapy trying to get back. All right, here's the full routine. Start with a tactical rest squat. One hold of 60 seconds, working toward 2 to 3 minutes as you build. Then go straight into the hollow body hold, no rest needed since you're transitioning from hip loading into core work. 2 rounds of 20 to 30 seconds, 60 seconds rest between. From there, move to the standing hip flexor wall press. 60 seconds per side, 1 round each, transitioning directly between sides. Then the dead hang, 30 to 60 seconds, 3 rounds, 60 seconds rest between each round. Finish with the overhead lockout hold, 30 to 45 seconds, 2 to 3 rounds, 60 seconds rest between. The whole session takes about 15 minutes. 3 times a week is the right frequency. Within the first week, you'll notice less stiffness when you stand up after sitting, more ease in the bottom of your squat, and a lower back that doesn't tighten up the way it used to by the end of the day. Within a month, the structural changes will be visible. You'll stand taller without thinking about it. Your hips will move freely instead of grinding through the first few steps after you've been sitting. The back pain that you've been managing will start to feel like something you're actually fixing. That's what the SEAL approach to durability actually produces, a body built to last, not just to perform for a season. Functional, resilient, and capable of handling whatever the day puts in front of it for as long as you need it to. If you want a complete 30-day plan with every session laid out and progressions built in so you never have to guess what comes next, grab Reboot Your Body through the link in the description. And if this video helped you, subscribe, a lot more is coming. Now close this video, get on the floor, and get into that squat. The clock starts now.